Hey everybody, it's your boy Captain Hunter coming at you again. Big L, PhD, Big L, PhD, talking about education, talking about your journey to and in higher education, whether you're getting a doctorate, whether you're getting a master's degree, talking about that. Also talking about building and boosting your self-esteem, things of the sort, right? So I came across a video that I'm going to put the still up here of Miss Helena Pascal. Not exactly sure how she pronounces her last name. I haven't paid attention to that degree. I've watched a few of her videos, all fairly decent. Some I agree with, some I don't agree with. And she did one. This was the one in particular that I'm highlighting here. I'm not going to play it. You can watch it. Or I also did it on my Captain Hunter's podcast channel. So you can go over to that channel and you can see my breakdown of that. But I wanted to address it on this particular channel because we're talking about education. And the premise is the more educated that people get, more educated that black people get, the farther and farther we are from marriage. And I really want to explore that and get your opinion. I'm obviously going to tell you mine. I think it's problematic, but I think we got to figure out why. Now, there's a couple other people, if you watch the other video breakdown that I did, right? There's a few other people who weighed in on this, which I think the sociologists are really kind of stumped by this phenomenon. It's a phenomenon that occurred that the more government help that we have gotten, instead of drawing us closer, in particular, I'm talking about welfare, instead of it drawing us closer, we have gotten farther and farther apart. And this is true now with education. You can see it, right? This was addressed back in a piece by a guy named Richard Reeves of the Brookings Institute, him and another brother by the last name Rodrigue. I can't remember his first name. But they wrote about this in 2015, darn near 9 years ago, that's taking a look at the black academic success does not translate into more marriages. Enter Helena Pascal, who's talking about this in this video, and why black men in particular, don't want to marry educated women. Now, I think that her analysis was somewhat correct in that, if you lead with your education, it comes off as arrogant, snooty, bougie, and men don't want to deal with that. There's another philosophy which says that, your education, a black woman's education, and the plight of the so-called manosphere would say that most women's, not any woman, many women's, I don't know how I want to word this, most, I don't know, education does not benefit the family, benefit you, your economic access, your social mobility, but does it benefit the family? Or let me ask the question, does it benefit the family? What are we talking about? Of course, right, when I go to work, right, I'm bringing in more money and that benefits the household. That's the principle. Is it the practice? There's a saying that my money, that ladies would say, my money is my money, your money is my money, right? I want a man who pays the bills. I want a man who's a protector and provider, and he's got to make more than me. All this different types of stuff. So, if that's true, then we have to really analyze what that means. So Helena Pascal in the video that's here talks about the Asian community as them being the most educated as far as upper level degrees. If that's true, and it probably is, I think statistically, obviously there's less of them, but statistically, percentage-wise, then that's more than likely accurate. If that's true, then why is it that they don't have the difficulties with marriage that other folks do? Why is that? Why is it that these people who can find a way to be together, stick together, even though they're highly educated, whereas in the black community, the more educated that you get, the less desirable you become? I've addressed the ladies aspect. Helena has addressed the ladies aspect, right? The more educated you become, then the more your standards go up. You want to protect or provide a man who's at least at minimum on your level or more. So if you're an MBA making, $150,000 a year, your guy's got to have at least the same level of master's degree and being able to and make more money than you. So the question has to become, what benefit is your degree to the family? If a man has to go out there and make this work, what benefit is your degree to the family? In particular, I'm speaking about Black America. Are you making Black American families better? Are you adding to their benefit of making sure that we live in a nice home, nice environment, good school district? Are you adding to our 401k? Are you investing in money? Are you helping us to buy property? Are you doing that with your share of the money? There is a saying and an idea that the education of the mother really kind of determines the education, the intelligence, and therefore the social mobility of the children. So that's why a lot of people will say we want educated ladies, because they will help their children to read and become more educated. They will do all these different types of things in order to benefit the family. But that does not seem to be the way that it's going for many in Black America. Our Black boys still can't read on grade level. Why is this, right? So I'm asking the question, is your contribution, is your benefit of education benefiting the family? Not you, not your economic success, is it benefiting the family? That's my question. And now let me take a look at the men. To the men out there, right? If women are moving up socially, economically, academically, and you want a viable man to partner with, is it not incumbent upon you to push that man to go to school, push that man to go to college, push that man to get the degree, push that man to get the CDL, push that man to get a license, whatever it is, push him? And by push him, I mean for your little brothers, for your cousins, for your nephews, for your sons. Push them to be the kind of economically viable man that somebody else would want. Men have to push each other to do that. If women are tasked to be, or thought to be, more nurturing, is it not incumbent upon you to make sure that your sons are economically viable towards a future mate? Just food for thought here. I would say yes. So finally, let me end this off with the economic viability of an educated man. The economic viability and attractiveness of an educated man. There is a saying within certain spheres, the manosphere in particular, and other people are talking about the educated lane, right? This guy who's spent his life in the books, getting it, academically, educationally, doing what he had to do in order to become the best version of himself, to succeed to the top. And for some reason that is deemed to be negative within our community. And I'll give you a very good example, right? This is a case study. Miss Helena Pascal, in this video that I'm highlighting, please go back, please watch it. She talks about a guy who slid into her DMs. Now, Miss Pascal has a master's degree, successful YouTuber, and I think she's a consultant or something like that. A man slides into her DM because she's a good-looking woman who has a PhD, right? I've achieved this level of academic success. Here's a woman who's doing something. I bring something to the table, at least as far as economic viability. And here I am, and Miss Pascal's response, and out of her own mouth, is she goes to check this guy's LinkedIn and probably went to Google Scholar and just goes to see what he did his research in, and couldn't believe the silliness of what he went to school for. So let me get this straight. There's a clamoring for Black women to get more highly successful men than themselves, to become more economically, academically viable and attractive. And an economically and viable, attractive lady such as Miss Pascal disqualifies him because she didn't like what he wrote his dissertation on. Let me say that again. There's an academic dearth, which is causing an imbalance in marriage in attractive maritable men, black men, for black women. Again, this problem is occurring probably within all races, but certainly not to the degree that it's existing in black America. So a person of this substance slides into Helena Pascal's DMs, and she disqualifies this man because she didn't like what he wrote his dissertation on. And she went on to say that when she thinks of a guy with a PhD, she thinks he's in debt. She thinks he don't have any money. In her assessment, in her attempt to highlight the problems between black men and black women, she unknowingly, inadvertently manifested the problem. She told on herself. Let me tell you something. There is no bar. There is no bar. In order to be attractive in the black community, you must have swag. There's a lot of people here today. Period. Point blank, period. You want to be attractive, in the black community as a man. Your education doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is how much money you have. And you can have it illegally. And you must have swag. Period. I'm trying to think of where I'm going to put this video at. Whether on my Big Up PhD or Captain Hunter's podcast. I don't know where I'm going to put this video. Because it's part about education. And how do we get men to be, how do we get black men to go to college, to take education seriously, to read, and all we do is tell them that it doesn't matter because you don't have swag? And here's a black, watch the video. Watch her video. She says it out of her own, I'm not exaggerating, she says this out of her own mouth. She don't even know she don't even realize she's saying it. She said she went to the man's, she said the guy who slid into her DMs, she read what he went to school for, what he wrote his paper about, and disqualified him. Can't make this up. You can't. There's not enough people are getting married. Not enough black men are getting married. Not enough black women are getting. We're not partnering up. We're married for 5 years. How do I as a man, how do I as a black man present education to other black men? The viability of it, the economic social mobility aspects of it. It'll increase your life. We know that people who have higher levels of education will make, I don't even know what the number is, $1.2 million or something like that over their lifetime, more, whatever that number is, whatever it is. How can I get you to take that seriously? How can I get men to take that seriously? And then you have a woman like this saying, you went to school for that? Any reason? Any reason? So listen, this is just my 2 cents. It's my 2 cents. It's really sad. It's really sad.